Russell's last warning. Mercedes, fix this now or I'll leave. Since the beginning of the 2022 racing season, Mercedes has been experiencing a lot of difficulty with the problem of porpoising. Mercedes has been having trouble resolving their problems with purpose in Baku since the introduction of their fresh new automobiles, which have helped them win 8 straight Constructors' Championships. But George Russell is now annoyed. What happens if Mercedes will not fix it? Is he really going to leave? Watch the video till the end to find out. Hey folks, welcome back to Formula One News. Today, in the next few minutes, we are going to understand why Russell is frustrated. Will Mercedes fix the issue of porpoising or not? But before we jump in, subscribe to our channel and press the bell icon so you never miss any update. Without any further ado, let's jump right in. Mercedes has been vocal about its dissatisfaction with porpoising and the problems that it causes for drivers due to its frequent bouncing in the media. After the grueling races in Azerbaijan, you can empathize with the agony that Lewis Hamilton and George Russell are feeling. Mercedes had previously made their concerns with porpoising known to the public, but in Baku, the issue was more severe than ever, which prompted the company to make a formal complaint to the FIA. It is possible that this could endanger not only the cars, but also the drivers, Hamilton and Russell. Let's have a conversation about the fact that porpoising isn't completely eradicated. By now, everyone's familiar with the term porpoising, and they've witnessed firsthand how hazardous it can be to the physical well-being of the driver. The regular G-forces that are generated while cornering place a large amount of strain on a driver's neck. The addition of vertical bouncing on straights or high-speed corners greatly enhances this strain and begins to place substantial pressure on the driver's spine. Because of the stresses at play, both the vertebral discs and the intervertebral structures of the spine are at risk of suffering a substantial, long-term, or chronic injury. However, resolving the issue by making adjustments to the way the driver's set up will have a big impact on the performance of the car, and Mercedes does not want to take this risk for fear of falling to the back of the pack. Taking into consideration the possibility of ride height adjustments, the author stated that even if we get it higher, the bouncing would still exist someplace, which suggests that this is more of a basic issue than was previously considered. Toto Wolff, the team head for Mercedes, has given a stern warning about the physical toll that this takes on a driver's body. Mercedes have been having the most trouble with this. It's the sound of something pounding against the ground. We are creating up to 6 Gs of vertical load, which means that it is not just the muscles that are being worked, it's also the bones. The drivers discussed the situation while sitting together, and with the exception of one, they all agreed that something needed to be done, and are obviously quite worried about this problem. They're aware that it persists, and they'll have to alter their configuration in order to find a solution to it. There is a school of thought that suggests this is because Mercedes switched to a configuration for the 2022 season that did not have side pods. Since no other group has similar architecture, the question is whether or not modifying this arrangement could solve all their issues. Will Mercedes take the necessary steps, or will the drivers just have to put up with the fact that it will be extremely uncomfortable and possibly even unsafe for them to drive in Baku week in and week out? After the grueling 90-minute race, Lewis Hamilton was definitely the driver who was experiencing the greatest discomfort as he was physically trying to get out of his car after the race. Even more notably, he is heard on the recording saying, "I can't convey the suffering that you experience, particularly on the straight here at the finish. You're simply hoping that it will be over soon, aren't you?" If this continues for Lewis, there are questions as to whether he will be able to compete on most weekends, or whether he'll simply retire the car in order to avoid the lengthy race times that he's currently experiencing. If this continues, there are also questions as to whether or not Lewis will be able to compete on most weekends. When compared to driving on purpose-built race circuits, the bouncing seems to be more extreme on street circuits like Baku due to the bumpy nature of the road. As a result, driving on street circuits causes Lewis more pain than driving on purpose-built race circuits, because it is considerably more difficult for the driver to detect their braking point, or even the driver in front of them while they are porpoising. The likelihood of a high-speed collision is increased when they are doing it. This is another problem with porpoising. After the competition in Baku, Lewis commented, "There were a number of moments where I didn't know if I was going to make it. There was one where I wasn't even sure if I was going to be able to keep it on the track." This indicates that Lewis was concerned about even maintaining control of the vehicle and avoiding a collision. The 7-time world champion is known for fighting through anything that comes his way, but this is one of the few times in his career where it is clear that he does not feel confident in the car. The W13 that Mercedes have given him does not appear to be quite as good as previous cars, and he appears to lack a lot of the key confidence in the car. As a spectator, you can see that the car appears to be a struggle to drive due to the porpoising. It's very clear to see that race in Baku was extremely difficult for Lewis, and some people on social media have even been saying it was a miracle to finish the race, as the 37-year-old struggled to walk following it. Lewis even said it was by far the hardest race in his 15-year-long career. He said it was the most painful race he had experienced and the toughest race he had experienced. It's very clear to see that the race in Baku was extremely difficult for Lewis. And George Russell, Lewis's teammate, who also has experienced porpoising, but not to the same degree as Hamilton. George seemed a lot happier with the car than Lewis and did not seem to be in anywhere near as much pain. Toto Wolff explained this by saying that in the last 3 races, these experiments have gone wrong with Lewis, but not with George, so George may be experiencing lower levels of pain. Hamilton's been quoted as saying that, however, George is still concerned about the situation, and he's aware that if the persistent bouncing continues, it might be catastrophic. Only us 20 drivers would choose to enjoy a safe journey here while you're traveling at speeds of up to 200 miles per hour between walls, and you can almost keep the car going in the same direction the road is pointing. Even the pit board was hidden from my view. The car was traveling at a rapid pace. Because porpoising can have a number of unfavorable repercussions, George has a distinct impression that there's a significant opportunity for an accident to happen. When going at the speeds that any Formula One driver does, this is highly dangerous. It could be something that the FIA has to step in and fix. There's no denying that Russell has looked extremely strong in the vehicle, taking up his 3rd podium in Bahrain after a streak of 5th place finishes. He appears to have adapted to the W13 car better than Lewis has, with him appearing generally more comfortable, possibly as a result of his setup. That's not to imply, though, that George is not going through some discomfort right now of his own. It's been reported that he has stated that the bouncing causes chest symptoms, and this is a significant problem that the FIA needs to address. It's only a third of the way through the season, but the fact that both Mercedes drivers are already complaining of pain might have a significant impact on where they stand in the championship standings, either through the implementation of technical changes or with the assistance of the FIA. Mercedes needs to regain control of the situation. So what do you guys think? Please let me know in the comment section down below. We always like to read and check in with what our viewers believe about our videos. Alright folks, that brings us to the end of our video. Again, if you have any thoughts or suggestions on the video, please share them below, or let us know any other topics you might like us to tackle in the world of Formula One. If you like the video, make sure you like and subscribe, and please hit that bell icon on your way out so you always stay notified anytime we update a new video. Thanks again for watching, everybody, and have a great day.